in the quiet suburb of Willow Creek, where perfect lawns hid imperfect lives. Sarah and John had built a marriage that looked unbreakable from the outside. They met in college, young, ambitious, full of dreams. John rose to become a senior executive. Sarah, a talented graphic designer, worked from home, raising their two children, Emma and little Tommy. But beneath it all, cracks were forming. Sarah was the firecracker, the one who spoke her mind. She loved John, or so she told herself, but his desire for her, his touch, his need for closeness, it wore on her like sandpaper. "Not tonight, John," she'd say, pushing him away. "I'm tired, the kids, work, all you ever think about is sex." And John, patient, quiet John, would retreat to the couch, his eyes full of unspoken hurt. At the office there was Mia, younger, vibrant, always ready with a smile, a laugh, and a listening ear. John never meant to cross the line, not at first. One evening, he came home early, flowers in hand, hope in his heart. "I've missed you, Sarah," he whispered, arms around her, but she pulled away. "Missed me or misusing me?" The argument exploded. Words became weapons. "You're never in the mood anymore," he cried. "What happened to us? But this is my conjugal right." And Sarah, furious, wounded, replied, "If sex is all this marriage is, maybe we shouldn't have one at all." Outside on the porch, under the eyes of neighbors, it went too far. In a moment of blind rage, Sarah's fist struck John's jaw. He staggered back, looked at her like she was a stranger, and without a word, he drove into the night. That punch was the beginning of the end. The next day at work, Mia saw the bruise. "What happened?" she asked softly, her hand gently on his arm, and for the first time in years, John felt seen. Days became weeks. He stayed late, slept on the office couch. Sarah's voicemails swung from tears to fury. "Come home, we can fix this." Then, "If you're with that secretary, just admit it." Suspicion burned. Rumors spread. One afternoon, Sarah drove past the office, saw Mia hugging John in the parking lot, his arms not pushing her away. That night, when he came for his things, "Who is she?" Sarah screamed, tears and rage pouring out. John's voice was cold, tired. "You pushed me away for years, Sarah. Mia, she listens. She makes me feel wanted." A vase shattered against the wall, glass like their dreams, scattered on the floor. "I'm not a monster for wanting my wife," he said, voice breaking. "But now, I don't know if I can come back." And he didn't. Divorce papers came. An affair followed. The community whispered, the complaining wife, the one who hit him, she drove him away. The custody battle was brutal. Neighbors testified. Even Emma, tearful, said she wanted to live with Dad because Mum yells too much. Then came the rainy evening, in a quiet cafe. Sarah stormed in, drenched, wild with pain. "You stole my husband," she shouted at Mia. Mia stood calm. "I didn't steal him. You pushed him away." John tried to intervene. "Sarah, please, for the kids." But the slap came fast, echoing the punch that started it all. Security pulled her out, and the judge granted John full custody. Sarah moved into a small apartment. Boxes, silence, old photos. Nights were the worst. She remembered the early days, passionate kisses in the rain, bodies tangled in fire and love. Now, that fire belonged to someone else. She wrote a letter she never sent. "John, I was wrong. I complained because I was scared of losing myself, but I lost everything anyway. Forgive me?" There was no redemption, only slow rebuilding, therapy, empty dates, and the ache of what was lost. John and Mia married quietly. The kids adjusted. Emma's calls grew distant, and Sarah learned too late that constant complaints can erode love like acid rain. One punch lit the spark, but the fire had been smouldering for years. In the ashes, she found a fragile peace, haunted forever by the echoes of regret. Please subscribe, share, and like to grow my channel.